500,000 copies of the Black Album, ready to ship. 1 week until the biggest release of Prince's career. Then one night in an LA nightclub changed everything. What Prince saw, or thought he saw, made him demand the complete destruction of every single copy. A woman in black, a smile, a disappearance. And by morning, Prince was convinced his album was evil. Today, surviving bootlegs sell for $15,000. And everyone who was there that night says the same thing. He saw something real. November 1987, Paisley Park Studios, Minneapolis. Prince put the final touches on the Black Album. No artwork, no credits, just black packaging. Anonymous, dark, raw. This wasn't typical Prince. No purple, no love songs, no spiritual messages. The Black Album was explicit, sexual, aggressive. Funk pushed to its darkest corners. Le Grind, Cindy C. Rock hard in a funky place. Songs that made sign. Oh, the times seemed tame. Prince recorded it in a frenzy 1 week. Barely any sleep. Like something was driving him to finish it quickly, get it out of his system. He was different during those sessions, recalled engineer Susan Rogers. Intense, focused, but also unsettled, like he was channeling something uncomfortable. When it was done, Prince listened back, smiled. This is it. This is the real me. No filters, no radio edits, just truth. Warner Bros. Loved it. Controversial meant sales. They pressed 500,000 copies. Scheduled release for the 8th of December. Pre-orders were flooding in. DJs had advance copies. Critics were already calling it Prince's darkest masterpiece. Everything was set. 1 week to launch. Prince decided to celebrate. Flew to Los Angeles. Hit the clubs. Let loose before the chaos of release week. Nobody knew it would be the last time he'd celebrate the Black Album, because in 24 hours, those 500,000 copies would be worthless. The 29th of November, 1987, somewhere past midnight. A club in La Name lost to time, or deliberately forgotten. Underground. Exclusive, the kind of place celebrities went to disappear. Prince arrived with his crew, small group. Trusted people, bodyguard, manager, a few band members. They found a VIP section, ordered drinks. The club was packed. Bodies moving, lights flashing, music pounding, classic ladies A scene. Excess everywhere. Someone offered Prince MDMA, not unusual for the time. Not unusual for Prince, who'd experimented with substances throughout his career. He took it, wanted to feel the music, lose himself in the crowd. The drug hit. Euphoria. Connection. Everything felt profound. Every beat mattered. Every person. Beautiful Prince left VIP, went to the dance floor, lost himself in the crowd. Anonymous in the darkness. Just another body moving to the rhythm. And then he saw her. She stood near the edge of the dance floor, not dancing, just watching, wearing a black dress, simple, elegant, out of place in a club full of neon and leather. But it was her face that caught Prince's attention. Pale, almost luminous, and she was looking directly at him, not at Prince the celebrity, at him. Like she could see through everything. She smiled, not friendly, not seductive, something else, knowing. Like she understood something Prince didn't. Prince stopped dancing, stared back. The MDMA made everything feel significant. This woman, this moment felt crucial. Like the universe was trying to tell him something. He started moving toward her. Through the crowd, bodies in the way, lights flashing, but he kept his eyes on her. She kept smiling, didn't move. Just waited. Prince got closer, 10 feet away, 5 feet. Reached out his hand. She was gone. Not walked away. Not turned around. Gone. Like she'd never been there. Just empty space where she'd been standing. Prince looked around frantically. Where did she go? How did she disappear so fast? He was looking right at her. Did you see that? Prince grabbed his bodyguard's arm. The woman in black. Where did she go? What woman? Right here. Black dress, pale. She was standing right here. The bodyguard looked confused. Man, I've been watching you the whole time. There was no woman. Prince didn't believe him. Couldn't believe him. She'd been there. Real, solid, looking at him. He started searching. Through the crowd, around corners, in hallways, the bathrooms, outside, everywhere. "Have you seen a woman in a black dress?" he asked strangers, asked bartenders, asked security. Nobody had seen her. Nobody knew what he was talking about. "Prince, man, are you okay?" his manager asked. "Maybe we should get you home." "Number, she is here. I saw her. She smiled at me, then vanished." You are on Madma. Sometimes people see things. This wasn't a hallucination. This was real. But the longer he searched, the more desperate he became, because nobody, not one person in that entire club, had seen the woman in black. Only Prince. Have you ever been certain of something, but unable to prove it? Ever had an experience so vivid that dismissing it felt impossible, even when everyone around you said it didn't happen? That is where Prince was, and the Mad May made everything feel amplified, urgent, terrifying. Share this story if you've ever questioned what is real. If you've ever had a moment that changed everything but nobody else witnessed, because what Prince did next would cost 500,000 records, and nobody could talk him out of it. Prince stayed at the club until closing. 3 a.m. still searching, still asking. The woman never appeared again. His crew drove him back to his hotel. He went to his room. Tried to sleep. Couldn't. The image of her face kept appearing. That smile, that knowing look. Around 5 a.m. exhaustion finally hit. He fell into a fitful sleep and dreamed. In the dream, he was back in the club. The woman was there again, black dress, pale face. But this time, she spoke. "You made something dark," she said. "Something that calls to darkness, and darkness answers." "Who are you?" Prince asked. She smiled wider. "You know who I am." And in the dream, he did know. Somehow, without being told, he understood. This was evil. This was the devil. This was something ancient and malevolent that had been drawn to the Black Album, to its darkness, its explicit content, its lack of spirituality. "The album calls to me," she said, "and I will come every time someone plays it. I will be there, in every club, every home, every car, feeding on what you created." Prince woke up screaming, drenched in sweat, shaking. It was 6 a.m., Sunday morning, Los Angeles, light filtering through hotel curtains. And Prince knew with absolute certainty that the Black Album could never be released, because if it was, that woman would be real, would be everywhere, would poison everything it touched. Prince grabbed the phone, called Warner Bros. Headquarters, got the emergency number for the label president, called that. "Hello," a sleepy voice. "This is Prince. We need to stop the Black Album right now, today." "Prince, it is 6 a.m. on a Sunday. What are you? I need you to destroy every copy, all 500,000. Burn them, trash them. I don't care, but they cannot be released." Silence on the other end. "You are joking. I've never been more serious. The album is evil. I saw." He paused. How could he explain? "I had a vision, a warning. This album will hurt people. It needs to be destroyed. Prince, we've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in this release. We can't just, I'll pay you back. I'll make another album. I'll do whatever you want. But the Black Album dies today. Prince, we're 1 week from release. Pre-orders are through the roof. This is going to be huge." "I don't care. Stop it now." The label president was quiet. Prince could hear him thinking, calculating. This was insane, but it was Prince. And Prince was their biggest artist. "You are absolutely certain?" "Yes, if you release it, I will never record for Warner Bros. Again. I'll walk today, right now. That did it." Okay, I'll make the calls. We'll stop the release. And destroy the copies. We'll recall them. We'll destroy them. I need to know they're gone. That this album doesn't exist. This is going to cost millions, Prince. I don't care. Do it. Monday morning, Warner Bros. Scrambled, called distributors, recalled shipments, pulled promotional copies from radio stations and journalists. 500,000 black sleeves, 500,000 records with no artwork, no credits, just Prince's darkest music, all of it recalled, collected, and destroyed. Some were incinerated, some were crushed. Some went to landfills. Warner Bros. Wanted them gone completely. No chance of leaks, no bootlegs if they could help it. But a few copies survived. Some DJs kept their promo copies. A few distributors didn't return everything. Maybe 100 copies, total escape destruction. Those copies became legendary. The album that wasn't Prince's lost masterpiece, his descent into darkness that he himself deemed too dangerous to release. Band members were confused. Why? They asked Prince, why destroy it? Because I saw something, Prince said, in law. Something that told me this album is wrong, that it is calling to darkness. And I can't let that happen. What did you see? A woman. The devil? I don't know, but she was real, and she was connected to this album, and I won't be responsible for spreading that. Years later, those band members would speak carefully about that night. Prince saw something, they'd say. Whether it was real or drug, induced or spiritual, I can't say, but he saw something, and it changed him. He was never quite the same after the Black Album. The Black Album was officially canceled. Warner Bros. Sent out a press release. Due to creative differences, Prince has decided not to release the Black Album at this time. No explanation, no details, just vague corporate speak that explained nothing. The music press went wild. What happened? Why would Prince destroy a finished album 1 week before release? Speculation ran rampant. Contract disputes, creative crisis, breakdown. But Prince didn't explain, didn't do interviews, just moved forward. Started working on Lovesexy, a bright, spiritual, explicitly positive album. The opposite of the Black Album in every way. Lovesexy is about God, Prince told reporters when he finally spoke about it. The Black Album was about something else, something I needed to leave behind. That is all he'd say. No mention of the woman, no mention of the club, just that he'd needed to move away from darkness. But the Black Album didn't die. Those surviving copies, maybe 100 total, started circulating, dubbed, copied, passed from collector to collector. By 1988, bootleg versions were everywhere, poor quality, but people wanted to hear it. The Forbidden Album, Prince's lost masterpiece. In 1994, Prince finally agreed to an official release. 7 years later, enough time has passed, he said. The darkness has lifted, but the bootlegs remained more valuable. Today, an original promotional copy sells for $15,000 or more. Because they're not just rare recordings, they're pieces of mystery, physical evidence of the night Prince saw something that changed everything. But what about the woman? Did she exist? Nobody at the club remembers seeing her. Prince's bodyguard manager friends. None saw a woman in a black dress. He was high, one friend said. Madma can cause hallucinations. Prince was exhausted, stressed. The drug amplified everything. Others disagree. Prince wasn't the type to hallucinate, said Susan Rogers. He'd done drugs before. This was different. He was terrified, certain of something supernatural. Sheila E. said. Prince had deep spiritual beliefs. He believed in God, believed in the devil. When he said he saw evil, I don't think he was speaking metaphorically. So what was the Black Album really? Why did Prince think it was evil? Musically, it was raw funk, explicit, sexual, aggressive, but not more so than thousands of other records. Not demonic, not cursed. But for Prince, it represented a side of himself he didn't want to feed. The hedonistic, the purely physical, the disconnected from spirituality. Prince was always fighting between flesh and spirit, explained a former collaborator. He loved sex, loved partying, loved excess. But he also had this deep religious guilt, this belief that pleasure was sinful. The Black Album was him giving in completely to the flesh, and I think that terrified him. The woman in black, real or hallucinated, became a symbol of that terror, a personification of what Prince feared he was becoming. Someone consumed by darkness, by base desires, by separation from God. Whether the woman was real doesn't matter, said a music historian who has studied this era extensively. What matters is Prince believed she was real, believed she represented evil, and that belief was strong enough to make him destroy 500,000 records. After the Black Album, Prince changed. Not immediately, not obviously, but over time, his music became more explicitly spiritual, more focused on God, more openly religious. Love Sexy was the first step. Then came albums with overt Christian themes, references to Jehovah, criticism of secular culture, a move away from the sexual explicitness that had defined much of his earlier work. The Black Album was a turning point, said Morris Day. Before that, Prince was complex, sexual and spiritual, secular and religious. After that, he leaned harder into faith, like he'd seen the alternative and decided he wanted no part of it. In interviews, Prince would occasionally reference that period. I went dark for a while, he'd say. Made music that came from a place I shouldn't have been accessing. Had to step back, realign myself with God. When pressed, he'd smile mysteriously. Some experiences you can't explain. You just have to trust what you felt, what you saw. I saw something that night that told me I was on the wrong path, so I changed paths. What about the club? Nobody who knows is talking. Prince never named it. Band members either don't remember or won't say. There were a dozen clubs it could have been, said an LA nightlife historian. Underground spots that opened and closed constantly. The club might not exist anymore, might have closed, burned down, demolished. The location is as lost as the woman herself. What about the people who own original copies of the Black Album? The ones who kept their promotional records when Warner Bros. Demanded them back. They guard them jealously. This is history, said one collector who paid $18,000 for a copy in 2019. This is the album Prince destroyed. The forbidden music. You can't put a price on that. But some feel uncomfortable owning it. There is a weight to it, said another collector. Knowing Prince didn't want this to exist, that he thought it was cursed. When I play it, I sometimes wonder if he was right, if there is something dark about it that I am not perceiving. Others dismiss that completely. It is just music. Good music. Funky music, dark and explicit but not evil. The curse is the story we've built around it. The mythology. Prince saw something that scared him, but that doesn't make the album itself dangerous. Still, the legend persists. Radio stations that play bootleg tracks report strange technical difficulties. DJs who've spun it talk about feeling unsettled afterwards. Equipment failures. Weird atmospheres. Coincidence? Suggestion? The power of belief. Nobody knows for sure. If you've ever created something you later regretted, if you've ever had to destroy your own work because it represented a version of yourself you didn't want to be, share this story because Prince's decision wasn't just about a woman in black. It was about identity, about control, about refusing to let darkness define him. November 1987. 500,000 copies of the Black Album ready to ship. 1 week until release. Then one night in a club. A woman in black, a smile, a disappearance. By dawn, Prince was calling Warner Bros. Destroy it all. The album is cursed. They complied. 500,000 records destroyed. Millions of dollars lost. The biggest cancellation in Prince's career. Was the woman real? Did Prince encounter the devil? Or was it MDMA-fueled hallucination amplifying his existing doubts about the album's darkness? Everyone who was there has a different answer. He saw something, they say. Whether it was external or internal, supernatural or psychological, he saw something that changed him. The Black Album survived as bootlegs. Today, original promotional copies sell for $15,000, maybe more, not because the music is better than the official 1994 release, but because they're artifacts of the mystery, physical evidence of the night Prince saw evil and chose to destroy rather than spread it. Prince died in 2016, never fully explained what happened that night, never identified the woman, never named the club. The mystery remained sealed. But he did say this in a 1998 interview, "I made something dark, and darkness responded. That taught me that what we create matters. That art isn't neutral, it channels energy, good or bad. And I chose to stop channeling that particular darkness." "Do you regret destroying the Black Album?" the interviewer asked. Prince smiled, that mysterious smile he was famous for. "I regret making it. I don't regret stopping it. The Black Album remains Prince's most infamous unreleased release. The album that was finished but forbidden. The music he thought was too dangerous to share. Was it cursed? Probably not. Was it dark? Absolutely. Was Prince right to destroy it? That depends on what you believe about art, evil, and the spaces between. What is undeniable is this: Prince saw something in that club that terrified him enough to throw away 500,000 records. Whether that something was a woman in black, a drug-induced vision, or the reflection of his own internal darkness doesn't change the outcome. The album was destroyed. The curse, real or imagined, was broken, and Prince moved forward into the light. But sometimes, late at night, collectors who own those rare promotional copies wonder, when they play those forbidden tracks, when the funk gets dark and the lyrics get explicit and the energy feels heavy, they wonder if Prince was right. If there is something in those grooves that shouldn't have been pressed, some darkness that refuses to stay contained, they wonder if, somewhere in a club in LA that might not exist anymore, a woman in black is still smiling, still waiting, still watching. And they wonder if, when they play the Black Album, she can hear it, and if hearing it, she remembers the man who saw her and chose to run. The mystery endures, the legend grows, and the Black Album, destroyed and reborn, forbidden and celebrated, remains Prince's most controversial work, not because of what is on it, but because of what happened when he tried to release it. One woman, one smile, one disappearance, 500,000 records destroyed, and a legend that will never die.